This separates me from all the craziness out there in the world. Nobody's controlling me over food. Nobody's controlling me over water. I have the say over my everyday life. And you see the old abandoned house?
Oh, wow.
See it?
Yeah. You're good for years out here.
I'm good. My whole life, and I still get chicken skin.
Still.
Special place.
Smells great. There we go.
Oh, yeah. This is my phone for the valley. This is the church that my dad would come to when he was a young boy. Today, nobody even knew that this place was a full-functioning community at one time. What is real Hawaiian culture and tradition? What makes us Hawaiian? Feels like you're in another place, huh?
Another world.
This whole entire rainforest that we're driving into my place in grew after 1946. 1946, there was a tsunami. The highest point of the water reached 111.6 feet tall in the valley.
Oh, wow. How long has your family been out here?
For a very, very, very long time. We're actually known or recorded to be right now the last original family left in the valley. The name of the valley is Halava. Yeah?
Okay.
Ha, meaning breath or life. Lava, which means enough or sufficient. So the sufficient breath or the sufficient life, that is what the Hawaiian people call this place. What we're driving in right now, this is where all old houses used to be when my dad grew up. When I was a young boy, there used to still be some houses left and some elders living in here. Below us, through the trees, you can see all the old terracing.
Okay, yeah, right
Through
here.
the trees, yeah. And the old irrigation ditch right here on the side of the road. And this, what we're driving in on right now, used to be a foot trail, but now is a horse and buggy road.
It's a Toyota road. This is your place?
This is my place.
Oh, great.
Yep,
the
right
waterfall's right behind.
Yeah, so this is our place right here. All of these taro terraces that you see right here are ancient fields that has been in my family for generations. The irrigation ditch, we just restored everything. My elders brought me in here, taught me everything, taught me how to restore all this stuff. Came in with my brothers, put this stuff back together. That was one of my dad's dreams, was to see this place functioning like it was when he was a little boy, and we got it.
Oh, this is amazing, Greg. Thank you for letting me come here.
No
It's
problem.
a true honor. You're a legend on the island.
Maybe.
Yeah, the people I told that I was visiting you said so.
Oh, yeah.
Is this your little guy here?
Yep, that's Puddin'. Puddin'.
Puddin'?
Yeah, this is my baby. Say hi, Puddin'. This is my so-called security around here to help bark at all the deer that come into my place and kind of eat my place out.
What do you got with the shell here?
This is a pu. In Hawaiian culture, this shell is called a pu. Pu in Hawaiian language means shell. And basically, this is my phone for the valley. So this is how I talk to my boys, how I communicate back and forth, how we start protocol.
Your boys are out in the valley somewhere?
So right now, my boys are out in the valley. They're doing a cultural hike with some visitors that came here from different places. Some came from England, some from outer islands, Oahu.
Okay.
The way we like to share culture is a lot different than most people, yeah. We like to share culture from our personal living spaces. You know, the way I grew up and the way my kupunas or my elders would teach is you learn culture from the inside out,
Okay.
not the outside in, yeah. And you learn culture from see, touch, hold, feel, taste. When my elders grew up, or especially my dad, he had to learn how to speak English from the first American school that was built in this valley in 1886. Yeah.
Wow.
So until then, a lot of the protocols that we have today was very different than the protocols that they practiced when they were growing up.
Okay.
So what I've learned from my kupunas is, you know, in ancient times, we never went onto another island. We never went into another village or ahapua'a. We never went hunting, fishing, harvesting, or touching any other part of an island without asking the people from that area permission first.
Okay.
You know?
Did I ask for permission properly?
Well, you ask permission in the
modern way.
The modern way that most people do. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to do protocol and we're going to ask permission in the traditional way.
Okay.
We're going to announce our arrival. So what we're going to do is we're going to kanikapu. We're going to blow.
Okay.
Usually my elder or someone would be here to blow back to us, who welcome us. But since you're already here with me and my boys are up on the hike, we still go through traditional. So asking our kupunas or elders or even asking the valley permission to enter. lava I tua o tana ulu. Le kauhu o kaliipoa. Le papakea I kamakani lava e hukai. Le hoi o e tuwai la mola. Alohe ye. Na ke kane. He ana kala pilipo. Hu me te lave mai. E pahea mai. E pahea mai. A ho kupu aloha. Aloha ye. Aloha ye. Well, welcome to my home.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Aloha kakahiaka, welcome. That's Ariel right here. It's my road security, my greeters.
Oh, This is nice. So you've really built this up well. I mean, this is just like its own ecosystem, its own world back here.
Well, this is basically the ahupua'a of Halawa, and basically what I did is I went back and I tried to put together and restore a lot of the stuff that Hawaiian people used.
So you're totally off the grid?
Totally off the grid.
Electricity, water,
all the way off the
food,
grid.
you're getting all your food here?
Well, bare necessities come from the supermarket.
Beans, rice, stuff
Milk.
like that. Milk, okay.
You know, bare necessities. But my water comes from the stream. I grow a lot of my own food. I got apple trees, orange trees, grapefruits, taro, sour saps, jackfruits, avocados, bananas, macadamia nuts.
Wow.
Summer months are really good for growing a lot of our vegetables and lettuce down here because it's not so rainy. In our rainy season, everything gets overflooded and swamp. So we're slowly getting out of our rainy season. So as you can see, my taro patches are the banks are a little bit high with water right now.
So if the grid did go down, the road did close down.
I'm good.
You're good for years out here.
I'm good.
I mean, no milk, but you're fine. You can survive.
I'm totally fine.
That's awesome.
I've got pig, deer, and goat here in the valley that I can get meat from. I've got o'opu, which is our native Hawaiian. So we nickname them native Hawaiian catfish. A lot of people get touchy because they're actually a goby. Shrimp, prawns, crabs in our ocean, lobsters, fish, freshwater. There's,
You name it.
yeah. So this is what Halawa Valley used to look like when my elders grew up.
Oh, wow.
You know, this is the road that you drove in on now. After the 1946 tsunami, all of these buildings and homes all got wiped out.
So how many people lived back here in the day?
When my dad says, when he were growing up here in the valley, you know, less than 100 families.
How many now?
There's maybe 8 to 12 people that live in the valley at all times.
And how many at your place?
At my place, it's myself and my 2 boys right now. My dad just passed away about 9 months ago.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Let's go take a walk up to the back, go check out the
Okay, great.
irrigation
So we
ditch.
have the shoes on, which means we're up for something here.
These are what we call tabis. Tabis are introduced to the Hawaiian Islands. It's more like a Japanese shoes. Hawaiians never had, you know, tabis or water shoes. We like to use these with the felt bottoms to go walking around the rivers and the streams. And we use them to go out into the ocean when we go picking limpids off the rocks, or what we call opihi. They're really good and prevents us from slipping on the rocks. As you can see, we have a few clogs in the irrigation ditch right now. So you can see all the leaves are piled up here. So basically what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start from the top and we're gonna slowly work our way down.
Okay.
In this ancient irrigation ditch, and it's one of the normal things that we do every day. Water is one of the most important things. As we're walking through, these are old house sites. So as we walk through, you're gonna see old rock walls and foundations.
Okay.
And if you look through the trees here, you know, you can still see the terracing
Oh, yeah?
going on. So these are all old fields. So the trees right now, this was no trees at one time. These are all farming fields. So Mother Nature has slowly grew over everything. And this rainforest is the leftovers of farmers who came back and reestablished their farms after the 1946 tsunami. You can throw a seed pretty much any place in this place and it grows.
And so land is very interesting in Hawaii. I haven't connected all the dots, but I've heard things like someone can own some land, but in the middle of that land, there's a taro patch.
That belongs to somebody else.
That belongs to someone else.
Yeah.
And that's like the land's within the land, but they can access it through the other person's land.
Yes.
And then there's beef with that potentially. And then,
and it's just basically access to land like every place else. Kuleana land rights, yeah?
that's what it is. So if you have land within someone else's land, you can always access it?
Back in the old days, if you were a landowner, or if you're a kuleana landowners, because not everybody lived where their fields was. Some people lived down here and their field was up there.
Okay.
Yeah, and since the way our place was, it was a big family place, yeah? So we had pathways here in the valley that was like easements where people could walk onto to pass through people's places to get to where they gotta go in the valley. And a lot of people looked at as hiking trails today. But these hiking trails were never hiking trails at one time. These were easements or the pathways where that everybody could come up. And you see the old abandoned house.
Oh, wow.
See it?
Yeah.
That's my Uncle Lonnie's place. Yeah.
Uncle Lonnie's place is still livable though, yeah?
Kind of, if you fix it up a little bit. Yeah. So as you can see, these are all the houses and this is the stone. But now here's the easement that we can walk on so we don't bother everybody. And the irrigation ditch it goes right along the irrigation ditch because everybody's responsible for the water. If you all check the people in here, they're always related at one time or another. So when my dad would show me all the old family pictures, it says who was who dated who. He says, no, we're all no dating, no one's married to nobody. We're all first and second cousins. So this place was one big family. You know, my dad says, why do you think so? I married a girl from the States. He says, I lived in a place with only family.
Yeah.
So when my dad went to marry my mom in the States, I asked my dad, did grandma have a problem with you marrying someone from the States? And he says, all grandma asked me is if she can cook. And I told grandma, I don't know. And my dad said, and all grandma said was, good luck. So, you know.
Number one is cooking skills.
So that's all grandma asked my dad is, can she cook? And you know what we found out is my mom was the most amazing cook.
Where was your mom from?
My mom was Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
So this is an original irrigation ditch from the first people that came in. What we did is we restored it. They say the oldest fire pit that has been carbon dated in this valley dates back to 650 AD. So that's what they say, that is what has been documented by Dr. Patrick Kirch. Yeah. Today we're going through and we're re-carbon dating and we're redoing stuff to double check everything today because the machines and the things we have to do the work is a lot better.
Yep.
So someplace older could have been found yesterday, a month ago. I live in the middle of this valley. I rarely ever leave. Who really knows?
How often do you leave?
When I gotta go see my wife.
She's not here?
No, she lives on Oahu. She's our Channel 2 news anchor.
Okay.
For the 10 o'clock news.
So long distance relationship.
So
requires
I live on
plane
Molokai.
flight.
My wife lives on Oahu. Oh, it's only a 30-minute plane
Right,
flight.
I know.
Right?
It sounds much further than it is.
So it looks like we're not that bad today with the dam and the clogging. We're gonna come back down and do a little work on this, but I'll go take you up to go look at some of the historical sites.
Oh, yeah. So Greg, this clothing you're wearing, traditional Hawaiian?
Yes, this is what I was raised with, kikepa and malu. I asked my dad, why do you always wear the color red? My dad says, well, we come from the home of Mo'oula. And I asked my dad, what is Mo'oula? And Mo'oula is the name of the waterfall, the home of the red lizard or the red dragon. In Hawaiian culture, we have what I like to say, titans, just like in other cultures, mythical creatures, or the Hawaiian version of Godzilla.
Okay. Do you have like a Sasquatch equivalent?
I don't know if we have a
monster guy.
I don't know if we have a Sasquatch equivalent. We have an equivalent to leprechauns or menehune, kind of like cave dwellers and leprechauns.
Oh yeah?
You know, in
these rocks up in these hillsides?
Well, there are the rock stackers and the rock builders, yeah? So as you can see, all old ancient Hawaiian sites. We're going to take a walk up here in a little bit. I'm going to show you a place, yeah?
There is definitely a very rich, intense feeling back here, I'd say.
Oh, it's a very spiritual feeling back here.
Yeah. You know, whenever in very beautiful nature, it commands respect. It makes you feel small. Yeah. Goosebumps. Still.
Special place.
Your whole life, and you're still
getting
getting
and
that.
I still get chicken skin and goosebumps when I walk through places like this.
Yeah.
Because it's not just walking through places like this. It's about feeling places like this.
I just got them.
Yeah. That is how we know our ancestors. You know, my dad is with me today. He's watching. This is where they used to live. This was a house site. Now this whole valley is littered like this. So imagine now stacking stones like this. How many people or how long did it take? And look at the size of these stones that these guys moved. the way the valley was broken up is this was an Ahapua'a system. And in the Ahapua'a, you had different ilis. And ilis were like different districts within that place. Each district was ran by a family, and there was one person in charge in each of these districts.
Would they trade amongst one another? Or?
Oh, no me, no my, no I. My dad says, when we grew up, there's no such thing as me, my, I. It's only us, ours, and we. How do you survive as a tribe or even a village if you're practicing me, my, I? So was trading and a lot of giving and sharing. Yeah. My dad always taught me that my food was never my food. My food was everyone's food.
How do you carry that these days?
Well,
I mean, you're bringing me in here, which is
what a
very
lot
cool.
of people don't know is I'm a trade farm. I get people who come from different islands, different places. They want venison. They want taro. They want hand-pounded pa'iai. They want ho'il ferns from me. They want bananas from me. They want papayas from me. We trade. You come from the town, bring me something that I cannot get down here. We trade. Who says money? Now, the reason why I like to practice that tradition of trading. Now, when there's money put into the picture, you have rich, medium, and poor. Take money out of the picture. Now, you go to trading. What would you trade? A funny joke. I'll give you food. Help me at my house. I'll give you food. Who says it has to be money? Everybody's got a talent. Everybody's got a skill. Everybody's got something to trade, but not everybody has money. When you take money out of the picture, there's no rich, medium, or poor. Everyone is the same.
Have you lived off the island?
Yes, I have. I've lived in LA. I lived in the States. I've traveled. Yeah. I lived in Oahu. I lived in Maui for a while. I was always told you need to go out and see the world.
Okay.
And if I never go out to see the world, you're never gonna ever appreciate what you have or what you've been taught.
What did LA teach you?
About the hustle and bustle, about me, my, I, about if you don't got this, if you don't got that, if you don't got something stuff, you're basically nothing. When I was living in LA, it was about the nice car. Everybody was there to acting or to become a movie star or to become a rapper, to become a model. I was up there because my wife was my girlfriend at my time, and she was up there chasing the acting dream because she was acting in movies and modeling and taking acting classes in the States. Okay. How I met my wife is she was the leading actress for independent film. I was the cultural advisor. That is how I met my wife.
Oh, that's cool.
And that is how I ended up in LA. Yes, a woman took me away from my home.
So
only girl to ever get me to leave this place. And I'm still with her today.
But it was a good experience, right? Because you never know something until you leave it for a while, correct?
You never know until we leave it for a while.
Right.
So right now we're coming up to a very unique and special place. This is the Pu'alaulau Heiau. And when we say Heiau, temple or worship site. This platform you see in front of us being built, this big rock wall platform.
Oh yeah.
That is the worship site. That
Way
is where
up there.
people would come and pray.
So Christianity is very strong on this island, right? I met a lot of Mormons actually, Seventh-day Adventists.
We're very religious people.
Yeah.
So we take to praying, we took to this stuff very easily. Yeah. In Hawaiian culture, what my dad says is we saw similarities in their belief within our belief. This valley was a huge agricultural valley, and a lot of the worship sites were to pray to our farming deities.
So there wasn't one God? Gods for everything?
Well, it's hard to say. It all depends on how you look at it. Some people say there's many gods. Some people says there's one guy with many names. But if you look at religion, that keeps you in the safe zone, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, most of it's pretty much the same thing.
And that pretty much gets me out of many religious debates.
I'm gonna use it. Thanks, Greg.
No, but that is.
But look, most of the major religions, there's so much common ground, you know.
This is what my elders taught me. So this is the temple or the worship site that we're on right now. As you can see, it's slowly been breaking apart. This is one of the worship sites that we documented.
So you only know about this because of your father?
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yes.
the only way these stories are carried down.
He's walked me back and forth around this whole valley. I would sit and listen to stories. And when I was a young kid, I didn't quite understand what my dad was doing with me. Yeah, I used to think I was being tortured. I would have to sit in a room with elders and he says, this is your auntie. We're gonna go to this house today. Uncle's got some paperwork for me that I need for the family work. And he'll take me to all these places and I could never understand why he was taking me to these places. But today, when I sit and people ask me stories about things, or if I ever heard this person told a story, I turned around, before my dad passed away, I turned around and my dad looked at me, he says, son, you were there. You heard them tell the story. Now you get to share the story of our elders. If we never hear it from them and we only learn it from the book, now is that our elder's story or is that somebody else's story? He's one of the most documented people in Molokai, but he's very particular about who filmed him. He says it's very important for the people that are filming you and doing this stuff to keep your story. Remember, there's always editors. There's always people who rewrite. People who say, my readers and my watchers won't watch this, so I have to do it in this way.
Right.
The story has to be told in the way that the person's telling the story.
The editor has so much power, more power than most people understand.
Yes.
I could even make this through an edit, even make it look bad.
Exactly.
I could do some voiceover, some dark music.
You could make this turn horrible.
This could be the worst thing
ever. But I'm having faith in you because I've seen your work and I believe in what you do.
Thank you. The beauty of the world we're in now is actually a lot of people like long form. They don't want a hyper edited video all chopped up with music and flash and dopamine hits. So
that's why we take a little stroll. I show you,
Thank
and
you.
if you're wondering what I do,
honor.
This is what I really do. People don't really know what I do. This is the first time somebody's really following me around, and everybody see the small little edited versions of the people who come here. They did the hunt with me, did the fish, did the duck, got edited, and that is all they saw. Now you're walking around with, this is what I do on my time.
So how often are you back here?
I walk this valley every day.
So you get up in the morning, you come out
I
here?
walk someplace every day. My routine is tied in with nature.
Okay. So if it's raining, you're not coming back
If it's a
here?
beautiful day at the ocean, that is where I go. And it all depends on what type of food I need to eat. Every day is some type of gathering.
What are you eating today?
Well, I've got you in today. So my people who just left, they bought me some steak. So I got a trade. They took out the venison. They brought me steak. Something that I do not have in this valley.
So that's nice.
So now, I'm gonna take that steak and now I'm gonna go into the yard, go pick some ferns, go pick a little bit this, chop it up, put it inside a pan, make a little something, and we got something to eat.
What does it mean to be Hawaiian? Is that a loaded question?
Hawaiian culture is made up of many different cultures. Yeah, if you think about it, Hawaii was a volcano that popped out of the middle of the ocean, scientifically.
Right.
Yeah, there are some ancient legends that Maui pulled Hawaii out of the ocean. But today we all know that islands are made from volcanoes. How did people get here?
Boats, obviously.
Boats. Now when people got here, did they leave their names, their beliefs, their food, their traditions, their everything behind and start Hawaiian culture? Or did they bring all of their stuff with them? Now if everybody brought themselves with them, that's mean we had many different names of people here. Now, if you came from Tahiti to here, you didn't change your name to Hawaiian once you reach Hawaii. We got the name Hawaii from King Kamehameha, who came from the island called Hawaii. He conquered the rest of the islands. And since he practiced British tradition, kingdom, because king and queen is not Hawaiian tradition. King and queen is European tradition. King Kamehameha had help from British officers. King Kamehameha's armies was given cannons and guns. And we even have ancient legends and stories of chiefs sending people out to different places to learn techniques and to bring all those techniques back. So what is real Hawaiian culture and tradition? What makes us Hawaiian? Why are we called Hawaiian? My elders would ask me that question, boy, what makes us Hawaiian? I says, because of all the things we do. They says, no, it's a name. My elders would always tell me if it was the chief from Molokai who conquered Hawaii, today we would be the kingdom of Molokai and we would be Molokaians, not Hawaiians. That is just what my kupunas would tell me. Some people get upset with me saying that, but I'm just saying what they taught me. So when a lot of people says, oh, you're wrong, you're this, you're that, that's not right. I says, you go tell my elders that. Because they're the one who taught me. And if my elders were born in the 30s, graduated school in 1954, Hawaii didn't become a state to 1959. My elder's first language is Hawaiian, not English. He had to learn English from the first American school that was built in Halava Valley. He graduated from that school in 1954. He says the islands that the kids call Turtle Island in the water today is called Mokuniki and Kanaha. He says, we used to go paddle canoes to those islands for sacred sea cave burials. He says, you kids would know nothing about those sea cave burials because when I was a young boy, the military would use that island for target practice. So since the island got bombed, the sea caves collapsed. And today, nobody knows about the ancient sea caves that they used to do sea cave burials with at the island. He says, and these are stuff that are being lost because they're not being practiced anymore. And now if the old timers don't share these stories or tell the stories, or if we don't ask the old timers about these things, what is the real story? Even though the overthrow of Hawaii was bad and the banding America taking over Hawaii and overthrowing Hawaii, they don't agree with any of that. But my elders always told me, now if America didn't do that to us, who would have? Because in the world today, in military and in power, people who want to control, Hawaii was too important of a pawn piece that anybody would let go. What a lot of people don't know, and what I've heard, you know, from other teachers in schools and universities, that if America didn't take us over, Japan, Korea, I believe China and Russia was all looking to take Hawaii. America, I believe, if I'm telling the story correct, which I'm not exactly sure, I just believe that America moved first. So the way my dad said it is, I don't agree with what's happening, but it could be a lot worse. He says, today, you kids have your freedom to practice culture any which way you want. When I grew up, I could not practice culture any which way we wanted. I grew up in the time of banding of cultures and traditions. He says, we went to American school. They taught us how to speak English. We got in trouble if we wore traditional dress. He says, our taro fields got changed to rice fields. So he says, it was us who grew up in the time. He says, today, nothing's no longer banned. So he said, if anybody should be upset, it should be us, because it was taken from us. Today, you kids have everything right in front of your face. It's up to you to share. If you don't share, it's you who prevents your culture from growing.
But isn't it fair to say that that way of sharing right now, like this is coveted land, people want this real estate, right? Like it's so beautiful, the climate's amazing, it's Hawaii, right? So do you worry about, I mean, it's already happened in many places, not on Molokai it feels like, but on the other islands, like big money interests come in.
Big money always comes in, no matter what. The unique thing about this island is we have a community that will fight for what they want. What I've learned from my kupunas is you're never ever gonna stop development. But if you work together as a people, you can control everything in moderation. The visitor comes to our islands not really know what's going on. They only see what's in media, social, and all this stuff. So if we don't take the time to educate these visitors that come, then it's us who prevents all of this stuff from being done in the right way. Technology can be used to save our culture or destroy our culture.
Right.
So when I work with a lot of kids, I tell them you can be an influencer by influencing this way, or you can be an influencer by influencing that way. Right? Which way do you want to influence?
Well,
what type of...
That way has an expiration date.
My pipe is to the stream. So this pipe right here is river water. That is what feeds my home.
No filters.
No filters. So if the water is brown in the river, the water comes out brown in my water pipe. Still yet to today. And a lot of people look at me and goes, oh my God, it's gross, you drink that water? You know what, I work with schools and universities. And with these schools and universities, I get educated just like I educate them. So they do soil samples, water samples for me. And what a lot of people don't know is my stream is perfectly clean. My water has perfect pH, and that is why my farming is awesome. All my native life in my stream is still alive. I got no giardia, no lepto when they tested the water. I drink river water.
But you look so unhealthy, Greg.
I know.
For 48 years old.
I know. River water, man. If you think about it, where does all our vitamins and nutrients come from? The earth.
Gatorade, no? That's right.
What kids would say today, Powerade, you know?
Monster Energy.
But now, if the water has calcium, iron, and all of this stuff inside, now basically I'm just drinking real mineral water.
Oh, that's a cool shot. Look at that. Wow. This place is great for the camera.
This separates me from all the craziness out there in the world. Nobody's controlling me over food. Nobody's controlling me over water. I have the say over my everyday life. I have the say over my food. I have the say over what I practice and what I do. There's nobody down here, Kaliki, except for this guy. Shh. Hey. Yeah, I have nobody down here really telling me what to do. I'll go pick some ferns real quick.
Why all the no trespassing signs? Are you worried about people coming up here?
Because we used to leave the place open to the public at one time. And then people started walking in here and falling down on top of our properties and started suing all the property owners.
Oh my God, really?
So that is why now everything in here is private property, and we close everything. All the landowners got together and shut everything down is because people are getting sued for falling down on our trails, and they're saying, oh, you don't got a sign that says no trespassing, you didn't have a private property sign, you didn't have a danger sign, you didn't have a beware of dog sign. So that's all means this is America. What do people do? Blame somebody else.
Rookie question, what's the brown in here? What is that on top?
This is what we grow. It's kind of like a water grass, yeah? Almost like a miniature like lily pads, you see it?
Okay.
And what this does is it grows on top of the water. I can't remember the name for this. I'm having a brain fart right now. But what we use this for is we grow over to help the weeds from preventing. When we harvest our taro patches and we drain the water, this will sit and dry up, and I can roll it, and it's good for fertilizer. It's high in nitrogen.
Are you fully natural here? No chemicals?
No chemicals, no fertilizers.
No fertilizers?
No.
Wow.
All of this is my whole place is only fed by river water.
So this land has never been tainted in that way?
No
it's
fertilizers.
It's as natural as it gets?
I don't use no fertilizers or nothing that stuff inside of here. And then this is a fern that we eat, which I like to cook. Yeah. We call ho'io. Or some people call them o'io. Some people call them pohole. These make a good salad. Or I like to chop them up and use them in my stir fries or when I steam. How our family has kept the culture for so long is we'll pick a child at the age of 5 years old and we'll train them. My dad says since the military was always here and they're always watching about cultures and traditions, we'd pick one child. That child do everything with the elders and learn, and they let all the other kids that wasn't interested in the cultures and traditions do the American thing. So when they came down here to check on the people, they saw the kids speaking the English, learning the things, but not knowing behind closed doors, there's a child that is learning language,
that's interesting.
learning history, learning tradition. My dad was that child that was taken at 5 years old. And just like my dad, he started teaching me at the age of 5 years old. And he would share that story with me. Son, why I started you at 5 years old? Yeah? But since today culture and traditions are not banned, I started all my 3 sons at 5 years old. So all my sons can do exactly what I do till today. Everything I'm showing you and walking around, my boys know. Second oldest church built here on the island of Molokai, 1852 United Church of Christ. So built in the 1800s. A lot of people think that this church got destroyed from the 1946 tsunami, but this building survived the 1946 tsunami. What happened to this church is it actually caught on fire.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you actually look at the wood, it's charred.
Okay, yeah. Can I go in?
Yeah. Yeah, you're with me, you can go in.
Oh, this is great.
Yep. And this is the church that my dad would come to when he was a young boy. And if you look right through the old broken church wall, the graveyard. So I actually have my grandma buried here. My dad's mom, Helen Kava'a, is actually buried here in the back in the old cemetery.
W.B. Upa?
Opa.
Opa.
Oh, Opa. That's the family name. So these are all graves right here. You can see little squares, one square with the rock. There's another
Okay.
square. So grave, 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 graves, all graves. Some had headstones, some didn't have headstones. Some of the headstones were actually removed and destroyed back in the day. All the way up to this whole place is all grave sites, which a lot of people don't know. My grandma's was right here. This is where my dad's mom is buried. This is where he would bring me. He'd walk me all behind before all of these trees were never growing through. So hopefully I can get the permission from the people that have this place, the church, because they still own this place, and I can maybe come and restore the old cemetery site. Part of the old stories and the old history of the valley.
And you can hear the ocean just roaring over there.
The ocean is right here.
It's hard to imagine church services back here.
Oh yeah. There used to be a tower that they would ring the church bell in. And this is where the women came to warn the people in the 1946 tsunami. My dad says when he was a young boy, you know, they're all walking out to the beach and the women noticed the water receding. They ran into this church and started ringing the church bell. And at the top of their lungs started screaming, "Kai-e-e, kai-e-e, kai-e-e." Yeah, which is warning the people of the tsunami in the valley.
And then how long did it come afterwards?
Well, they had enough time to get everybody out of the valley in safety. My dad says not one person died that day. The women took the children up behind the church to where mile marker 27 is. He says, man in the fields came up to the homes and grabbed elders. Teenagers released animals and let animals go. Everybody met where mile marker 27 is today.
And they lost everything.
Pretty much watch everything in this whole, all those homes, schools, all the car bridges, swinging bridges I showed you in all of those old pictures, all got destroyed from the 1946 tsunami. And today, nobody even knew that this place was developed or was a full functioning community at one time. Yeah, swinging bridge, post office, general store, harbor, poi factory, all in this place. Fish pond, all no longer exists today.
So only a few people came back.
And today, we're the only original family left that never left the place. Still here today. I should say, came back to the place.
How does that make you feel?
Because my dad did go into the military and he came back, but our elders were still here when my dad came back too.
How does that make you feel being the only original family?
Kind of good and kind of sad. You know, I'm glad that there's original people left, but I wish there was more of the original people around.
Yeah.
The stories and the histories that we could learn about this place that was never, you know, handed down.
Look at that.
This is where the bell tower used to sit, right here. The bell tower would go straight up, and this is where they would ring the church bell every day, right in here. Doom, 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 doom. They ring the church bell. This park used to be my dad's schoolyard at one time growing up. So this is where the first American school was built. My dad would stand here and say, son, this is where the flagpole used to be. This is where I learned how to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Standing right here every morning. Yeah. He says this was the water fountain where they washed their hands and they taught the kids hygiene, scrub your nails, clean up before going into the classroom. Yeah. This right here was a pathway. See, you can see the walkway. Would come to the fountain and the flagpole. And he says this pathway right here and this little cement square was the steps to go into his classroom. His classroom faced this way. This is where his school building sat, right here. One building, kindergarten to the 8th grade. That's what we do. We educate people. Yeah, if you come here to buy land, that's not what we're looking for. We only have so much space. We live on an island. Now, if we get everybody come over here to this island, what do the local people have for themselves? It's kind of like any state or any town. A lot of states and towns are getting overpopulated from people just coming in and buying real estate and doing everything. Now, the states, a lot more land for everybody. Here, us Hawaiian people, we only get limited resources.
Yeah, and I'm not going to turn the camera because awesome friends you have, they just don't want to be on camera. But what he was saying was deer outfitters to do hunting here, right?
There's so you get a lot of mainland people coming in, big outfitters. So they'll come in and they'll buy up all the land. And then places where us used to go hunt, take people, or what we used to use now, we cannot go anymore because they fence off the whole thing and they don't, you know, they don't see it like how us Hawaiian people see it. Remember I told you the concept of sharing.
Right, so there's tension in that right now.
It's not mine, it's not his, it's not that person, it's for everybody.
Okay. So your friend over here is a local that's going to set up an operation.
Oh, he's already doing it. That's why I said thank you. I came for selling workshop. So I just believe in what he's doing.
Trav's link is down below. So if someone goes on...
Hey, boy. How's the waves?
Good. It's action.
What you just did there, forehead to forehead.
That's what we call the honey Hawaiian handshake. We call that the exchange of ha.
Okay.
Yeah, in Hawaiian culture, when we go forward to forward, nose to nose, we believe we exchange the breath of life with each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your place is just basically right behind us 2 miles.
Yep. So we
Right
live
there.
up in the valley. Yep. And where we're at right now is this is my dad. This is where we did the ceremony for my dad. So this is a lele. And this is where we did the ceremony for the bringing home of the elder. So we created a place where now people can come and practice, chant, practice their cultural traditions out here. You know, anybody who wants to come now and practice and share or feel like they want to get connected, this is a place where they can come.
Oh, this is great. What a place. What a place to grow up.
Oh, can't complain. The children and the kids and the families get to enjoy.
It feels so detached from the mainland out here.
Feels like you're in another place, huh?
Another world. Like you're in your own world on an island with 7,000 people, which is its own world, on a chain of islands, which is its own world. Removed from the world. That's wild.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the fact that it takes me more time to get here from my home than for me to get to Europe or the Middle East is pretty mind-boggling when you think
Wow.
about it. You know,
is pretty crazy.
Technically we're in the same country, right? And I could get to Cairo, Egypt quicker,
That's pretty amazing.
you know?
This is kind of my hideout spot, my man cave.
The man cave.
Yeah, this is where I do all my work with my rifles, for my hunting and my guides. I got my velvet collection, which are all these velvets.
Is this where you sleep?
This is for my wife. My wife says, if I'm gonna come visit you, I better have a bed. I've been sleeping in a tent for 10 years, so I built this so my wife can be comfortable.
No way.
Yeah.
You sleep in a tent?
I slept in a tent for 10 years. This is the first building I've had besides a tent.
But now you sleep here.
Yeah. So I used to sleep right here. See that platform right there?
Yep.
Right on that platform, my tent sat there.
So you guys are out here full-time? Part-time?
They're full-time with me.
Okay, so how is it being out here?
We grew up on Oahu, so it's very different city life. We're
Okay.
used to the city life. This is us like taking a break for a little
Okay,
bit.
is it hard adjustment or?
We also grew up down here, so this is like a home away from home, I guess.
Do you miss Oahu at all?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
People, but at the same time, like living out here in peace and quiet is very nice too.
I really enjoy living here, especially with what I do, being that I work with people every day. I don't it helps with like the social factor because I'm a very social person. But at points I do miss home just because that is where mom, that is where little brother is.
Okay.
So I
in
miss it
Oahu.
for more the family reasons. I don't miss the craziness of the rat race.
Okay, you don't feel the rat race at all out here, obviously.
Yeah, don't feel it at all, which is quite nice.
Greg, what are you cooking up here?
Just a fast, quick meal. I'm gonna make a little stir fry with some ho'il ferns and some steak and some onions. You know,
Awesome.
a quick cook. David, could you hand me the onions, please? The onion from inside there? Or is there still onions?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, quick make.
I
make
like
a-
you have scopes and guns everywhere.
Oh yes, that's a 223 with my night vision scope.
And so
that's-
you're mainly shooting deer, right?
Yes, the deer come into my farm at night and eats all my plants. So I just don't shoot them. I give away a lot of the meat, and a lot of my meat gets shipped to people on outer islands.
Does it say never trust a skinny cook, Greg?
Oh yes.
But you don't have much fat on you.
Well, that was my mom.
Okay.
This is my mom's kitchen, and now that they have passed, I'm still taking care of the place, and I try to keep mom's kitchen still looking like mom's kitchen. And you know, my mom passed away a couple years ago. My dad just passed away 9 months ago, and to me, they're still here.
I can't even tell you what ferns taste like.
Well, they're good. You're gonna find out today. And basically, we just blanch them in hot water to soften them a little bit, and then we'll throw it into the stir fry with the everything else that's cooking. Come on, man. Make you something to eat. I got a onion, ho'io salad.
Oh, that's great.
Stir fry.
Nice stir fry.
Yeah, got some rice over here. Sorry, I don't got any taro right now. I didn't go put taro, but I got
Oh, that's
rice right
fine.
now. Yeah, so help yourself.
You guys are eating,
Plate.
right?
Yep, they are. Trust
Oh,
me.
I'll let them go first.
Oh, no, guests always go first.
Okay. Here we go.
Yep, so
Awesome.
Some stir fry right there.
Smells great. There we go.
Oh yeah.
So even though you live in a super remote place, Greg, you love the social time, the interaction.
Oh yeah. I might live away from everybody, but I really like talking to people, and I really like being around people. And with what I do, it brings people into my home every single day where I get to talk story. And even though I live on one of the most remote places on the island, people tell me, don't you get lonely living in the middle of nowhere? I says, no, I don't get lonely, because what you don't know is people actually come and visit me every day. So I get company all the time. So that's a fern that we'd pick from the forest. That's a native that we'd eat. Yeah. Took the food that we traded out, chopped it up, and made us a meal.
Great.
Now, when visitors come to Hawaii, one of the questions my dad would always ask is, how many times have you ever been to Hawaii? Or is this your first time? Now, the next question my dad would ask them is how many you have ever really seen Hawaii? Most people only see what is on the beach, what is on the sunset Mai Tai canoe ride, what is in the great Hawaiian luau. What culture are you seeing? Are you seeing the culture that they had planned and scripted for you before you came in? Or are you seeing the culture that just happens every day? Today with me, you walking around with me.
Yeah.
This is not the hotel or the beach.
No.
We
Well,
saw the beach, but
To be fair, most tourists aren't going to be able to access it. You know what I mean? It would be hard. I had a contact of a contact hook us up. You know what I mean? But it'd be hard just for someone to come here and all of a sudden they have that access.
it would be hard to someone for here to come here and ask, but there are people who are still willing to share if you know where to look. You find me through a contact, but what a lot of people don't know is there's many different ways. And I'm not just the only one who does this. Now, as a Hawaiian, if I know that a lot of the culture is not done in the correct way, when doing the shows or all of these things for the visitors in the hotel industry, what is my job as a Hawaiian? Do I get mad at the visitor because they don't know? Or now do I have to step up to the plate and now step out of my safety zone and says, this is what we really do?
So I think there are two types of travel though. One is the tourist. They get a limited amount of time. They have a chaotic, crazy life. They're here for weather and a beach, right?
Yep, true.
And then the other type of tourist,
it does,
like what I'm doing.
It does really matter on what you really coming to the
There are
islands
two
for.
types, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't blame, I'm not saying one's better than the other or anything. I'm coming because I want to learn. You know what I mean? And I can take these lessons that I've learned through you and show many people.
That is true. No, it all depends on what the person comes for.
Yeah.
Some people don't care about the culture, and I have experienced that before,
They get their life is hectic. They have no time where their pressure is off.
Just
and for 5 days, pressure off, beach and a Mai Tai.
I can understand that point.
But you don't learn, but you don't learn about Hawaii at all, obviously,
exactly.
that way.
And for us as local people, we want the visitors really who wants to learn. That's what it's all
So the
about.
tourists need to know that, the locals really do want
a lot of
them.
visitors go, how do I get to have that experience? Well, you got to be willing to open up, and when you come here, what type of aloha do you come with?
Yeah, and I was told that Molokai was very closed off as far as the hospitality of the people. Totally wrong. Everyone's been super cool, beyond friendly. This is the type of place you talk to someone at the supermarket for 30 minutes, and then you go to the store and talk for another 30. That's how you learn about a place. Yeah.
Everybody meets, everybody hugs,
Yep. Yeah, auntie,
everybody's
uncle.
auntie, everybody's uncle.
That's pretty cool to see. No, you got something special.
I was always told by my kupunas, Hawaiian culture is sacred, not secret. What happens when it becomes secret?
Things die when they become secret.
Exactly, son. When it's sacred, we want everybody to learn about it. We want everybody to love it, just like we do. Yeah? Sacred, not secret. And my kuleana, or my responsibility that was left to me by my dad, is now my responsibility is to educate and to share about this place.
so you feel that responsibility
Oh
from
yeah,
your father.
and I take that very seriously.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. I want to send the right people your way. If someone wants to learn about the culture, the lifestyle, how do they find you?
Well, you can look us up at halavavalley.molokai.com.
Okay. I'll put that link down below in the description. Anything else you want to say?
And don't forget to check out my good buddy and friend. Yeah.
Travis, the guy we met down at the water?
Yeah. Greenleafoutfitters.com.
Okay, so if hunters want to come and get a unique experience,
Come and check my buddy out.
meet with Travis.
They can come and check me out. Any which
Check
one
you
of
out.
us guys,
Okay.
we'll take care of them.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that one, and thanks guys for coming along. Until the next one.
Right on.